Hi, this is the quick review of Olympus 35 SPn, one of the finest rangefinder camera back in 1970s, first released back in 1969. Current price for this rangefinder camera is from $80 to $350 Canadian. This is the basic parts. On the top, this is the advanced lever, shutter release button, film counter, accessory shoe, rewind knob and rewind lever, PC sync port for the flash, viewfinder, CDS sensor for light meter, and on the lens, this is the shutter speed dial, this is the aperture dial right here, this is the index, center red color, and this is the focusing knob. On the back, this is eyepiece or viewfinder, spot metering, and battery check. The bottom part is the battery compartment, tripod mount, rewind button. On the side, this is the lock release for back cover, ISO dial here, and if you open the back cover, this is the rewind shaft, film guardrail, sprocket, takeout spool, film pressure plate, and film spring. This camera supports 35mm roll of film. You can buy 12 or 24 or 36 shots. Lens is G Seiko 42mm f1.7, 7 elements in 5 groups. Filter thread is 49mm screw type. Battery type is PX625 or equivalent. This is, I think, 1.3 volt, 1.5 volt, sorry. And film scale is from 25 to 800 ISO. Guide number is from 10 to 80 meters or 32 to 260 feet. Right there. This is also equipped with auto exposure. If you're using ISO 100, it will lock the shutter to 1/15th a second to 1/250th a second, and the aperture between f1.7 to f22. If it is manual mode, you will unlock all the shutter speed 1/500 a second to full shutter range for f1.7 to f16. Okay, let's load the battery. You can use your quarter to open the back battery compartment. Okay. Very important to follow the polarity. You can see here positive. Positive to positive right there. And tighten with the coin. To check the battery, you have to press the red button right here. See? There you go. The battery is okay. Film loading. Make sure set the aperture to A. Everything set to A. Right there. Before you load the film, set the aperture ring to A. Sometimes it's block the release button. It will cause insufficient brightness in the environment while you taking shots. So important thing, you put the A on the f-stop. Then open the rear cover right here. Place the film on the film canister. And then put the end on the takeout spool. Make sure that the hole of the film is engaged in the sprocket, not the sprocket. Here you go, you can see. And then tighten the film. It's already tight, so it's okay. And then set the ISO to 100. Crank and fire the shutter until you get into frame 1. You also notice that the rewind knob is turning, meaning you place your film correctly. There you go. You have the film number 1 on the film counter. So you're ready to go. Exposure mode. There is automatic mode for this camera. This is the shutter dial. So you just turn this until you get the red A for automatic. Also for the f-stop or aperture, turn this to A. So this is automatic mode. All you have to do is focus the subject and fire the shutter. Auto exposure range of ISO 100 is EV 5.5 or f1.7 at 1/50th a second of poor light. For bright scene is EV 17 or 1/250th a second. F-stop is f22. In very dark condition, the shutter release automatically locks and you cannot release the shutter. So you have to change the mode, or you go to a flash mode. Go to manual mode or go to flash mode. How to use spot metering. This is the spot metering. By the way, this is the battery check. You can press this, you will see the LED lights, meaning your battery is still good. So spot metering, if the subject illuminated from opposite side of the camera, backlit or against the window, spotlight, dark background, or etc. Center the subject and press the spot metering like so. You press this and meter to the face of the subject, and then recompose. While pressing the spot meter, recompose. Example, you meter the subject, then press the spot metering, and then recompose your frame, and then boom. This is the spot metering. How to read light meter? In this camera, there's unique light meter. Some people, they don't know EV or exposure value like me. I'm not familiar with those, but this is very easy because it has EV indicator on the light, on the viewfinder, as well as on the lens. For automatic mode, make the shutter and f-stop for both A. That one is automatic. When the needles enter to a yellow zone, you see the viewfinder right here. When the needle enters to a yellow zone, shutter speed is slows down to 1/15 to 1/30 at a second. Make sure avoid necessary shake while the camera shutter is released, or you have to use a tripod to compensate the shake. In case the needle is entering the red zone, the shutter can be released, but image may be too bright, so you have to use the ND filter, like to stop the compensate the light going to your lens. Manual mode, you can choose what shutter and f-stop you wanted by matching the EV reading. Okay, if you want to like portrait sometimes 2.8 f4 or 1.7, so you set your aperture to 2.8. okay, and if you check on the viewfinder, you will see the needle. If it is EV12, it's very easy just to match the reading on your viewfinder on the small window right here. If it is EV12, you can just turn your shutter speed right here, just find the 12 right there. So that's 12. So your current shutter is 1/500 a second, aperture of 2.8. What if you want f8? If you want f8, you see I'm doing aperture priority, so I do aperture first and then shutter speed. So f8, and then the reading also again is, let's say, EV11 or EV9. So just turn your shutter speed and look at the small window right there. Look for EV9 or whatever meter reading that given to your viewfinder. So that one is 9. So meaning you're matching with the reading on the light meter right here. For more info for the EV equivalent, you can go online, you can study what exposure value is meaning. But me, I'm not expert on the EVs. I'm just doing this like matching my EV reading on the lens. This is easier to do than going to a table or calculation or everything. Okay, how about shutter speed priority? So shutter speed priority, if you want a sport, or you want it like a bulb mode, or you want it 1 over 1 second or something. You want it blurry shots, or you want it freeze, you want to freeze the shot, you go to 500 or 250 there, and then look at the viewfinder again and then match the EV like this. Okay, that's very easy, and all we have to do is focus the subject, composing and focusing the subject. So we're done in aperture and shutter speed priority. We'll go to composing and focusing the subject. If you look at the viewfinder, you can look at the viewfinder. There is a small square in the center. Sometimes it's yellow in color. That one is a split image. So if you look at the subject you're focusing, sometimes you will see a split image. Make sure that the subject is aligned. If not, you have to turn the focusing ring until you got the image is aligned. If the image is aligned, meaning you're in focus. Flash photography or bulb photography. If you're doing a bulb photography, especially doing long exposure in the night or doing a light trail, we're doing a bulb mode. So for example, bulb mode right there, this is bulb mode. There you go. Bulb mode, you can set your shutter speed to B, and I use f16 for 30 seconds. I put my camera to a tripod. I crank this thing like this and press this. And as long as you're pressing the camera, the shutter remains open. And then when you remove your finger, the shutter will close. Last thing is flash photography. If you're using a flash, the flash sync of this rangefinder camera is 1 over 38 a second. You'll see also there is a red indicator there. Here you go. Set that thing on the shutter speed. Example, you put the Boyglander flash. Okay, let's put battery. Make sure you follow the polarity of the flash battery. There you go. Set the ISO to 100 because you're using a 100 ISO. There you go, and then put the flash right here. Turn it on. Now, how you use the flash? So go to your subject, focus the subject by using the focusing ring right here. This. Okay. When you see like right here, it's 3 meters or 10 feet. So you will check in your flash 3 meters or 10 feet. So your f-stop should be f8. So you adjust your aperture to f8 right there. So 1 over 38 a second, f8, 3 meters or 10 feet. same with the guide number of the flash. So f8 3 meters 10 feet. Wind this and then shut. So that's how you use the flash. Again, make sure you focus first focus the subject by adjusting the focusing ring. Check the measurement or distance of the subject and then look at your guide number on the flash. Okay. Self timer. Self timer is this thing. You can wind this thing. This is self timer, and self timer is 9 seconds. So that is self timer. There you go. Make sure if you wind this, make sure it's back like here so you can press the shutter button. But if it stays like that, you cannot press it. So once you're done, you finish all the film, so it's time to rewind. To rewind, you press the button right here, the rewind button right there, then lift the rewind knob and turn it clockwise. Until you hear some click or no more resistance, and it's done. There. I will not rewind all the way because this is my dummy film. So if it is brand new film, you have to rewind it all the way. Okay. So yeah, that's the quick review of Olympus 35 SPn. If you want to visit my eBay store, the link is down below. Make sure to check the sample photos that this camera took. And I hope you enjoy, and see you on the next one. Make sure you subscribe, and thank you, and see you on the next one.